Welcome to FrankCorp Franchise Your Business Seminar. We are here today to talk a bit about FrankCorp program development. Briefly, before we start, I would like to give you a brief about FrankCorp. FrankCorp is a company that started in 1976. It's one of the leaders in terms of franchise, and we have managed to franchise more than 1,000 clients. We have offices across the globe. We are present in 45 countries, all the way from Chicago, which is our head office, to Latin America, Mexico, Peru, Argentina, all the way to the Far East, such as Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. We are in Japan, we are in China, we are in India, Pakistan, and truly FrankCorp Middle East, where I represent. And as FrankCorp Middle East, we are, in different kind of territories. Our regional office is in Dubai, but we have another office in Saudi Arabia. And from those offices, we cover the region. As FrankCorp Middle East and Levant, we have a territory all the way from Turkey to Lebanon, to Syria, to Jordan, to the UAE, to Saudi Arabia, to Kuwait, and several other markets. Now, talking about franchise your business. Franchise your business is basically anything related to well-defined and well-structured franchise program, in which I'm going to take you through it today. It talks about 4 major components. Those components that will make your business as a successful franchisor. Those 4 main components are the strategic planning, legal documentations, franchise operations manual, and marketing plan, marketing material. Now, before we start, I just want to tell you that as FrankCorp Middle East, we are committed to position the Middle East as the main hub in terms of franchising. The reason I'm saying this, we have seen so many great concepts, newborn concepts, created in the Middle East. We want to expand these concepts. We want to go international. And this is why we are present in this region. Now, for us to start talking a bit about your program development, I need to explain that every single thing we do is based on technicalities and nothing else. When we talk about technicalities, we talk about logistics, we talk about financial, we talk about organization. So every single detail we do is based on technicalities. The franchise program, as I mentioned, is divided into 4 components. The first one is the strategic planning and structure report. When you talk about strategic planning and structure report, it talks about different factors that will make your business and the fundamental part of your franchise business. We talk about the goals and objectives. When you talk about the goals and objectives, each franchisor has his own goals and objectives. Some of them, they want to become an international business. Some of them, they want to become a business that it is an international and it is profitable. Some of them, they want to sell the business, so they have an exit strategy. Some of them, they want to go into stock market. Some of them, they want to have a transgenerational business. So basically, it depends on your goals and objectives. So the first thing we look at is the goals and objectives. The second thing we look at is basically the formats of franchise. Because when we define your goals and objectives, automatically we define your development schedule. When you talk about development schedule, we talk about a plan for the upcoming 5 years, where we're going to be in 5 years, how we're going to penetrate certain markets in 5 years. Now, going into the formats, every single formats we do is based and related to your development schedule. In the formats, you will have the individual format. You will have the master franchise. You will have the area development format. You might have the conversion format. You might have the multi-unit. You have several formats, and every single format, it is defined based on your development schedule. So once we build your development schedule, we will define your formats. Talking about the formats, Some of the people know the formats and some of them they don't. A format is a agreement that you will sign with your franchisees. So you might have an individual format, like I mentioned, you might sell it to an individual franchisee, or you might have an area developer format where you sell it to an area developer, or you might have a master franchise format where you sell it to a master franchisee, or etc., etc., etc. Now the reason we are defining these formats, because we want to make sure that whatever we're going to plan in the upcoming 5 years, it has to be covered part of your format. So once we define the formats, we move to the third component. The third component talks about the profile that suits our formats. So if we decided to work on the individual and area development formats, then automatically we're going to have a profile that suits our individual franchisee and a profile that's going to suit our area developer. So based on the format, we will do a profile. So this profile would suit the format that we have established. The other major part of the structure report and business planning is basically anything related to the territories. How we're going to enter this territory. How we define whether this territory will take certain number of stores. Based on what? Based on what criteria? Is it based on GDP? Is it based on level of sales? Is it based on what? So basically we'll assist you in building this criteria to define the number of outlets that you can open in 5 years. Moving on, we talk about the supply chain. Whenever you sell a franchise, you need to define and you need to have a designated supplier. The reason we say this, because we want to make sure that you have the buying power and the quality assurance. When you talk about buying power, surely the more you sell, the better you are in terms of securing products with a lower cost. And this you do it normally for your franchisees. So we go into the supply agreement, the supply arrangement. We look at who's going to be our designated supplier, what are the product specs we're going to use from the supplier, and we define it part of your structure report. Moving on, we talk about the fee structure. Fee structure is anything related to your franchise fee, to your royalty fee, to your advertising fee, and to your marketing fund. Now I'm pretty sure 99% of the people, they do not know that a franchise fee is based on technical calculation, and it is not based on the normal practice or comparables or competition or. It's simply based on technical decisions. And the reason I'm saying this, the way we do it is the following. We have two costs. One of them is the global cost and the other one is the direct cost. When we talk about the global cost, we consider it as the indirect cost, meaning if you paid Franco to do your program, this is an indirect cost. If you have established your SOP, standard operating procedure, this is your indirect cost. If you have established a marketing fund or you have established a marketing, let's say a budget that you're going to implement in the upcoming 5 years, this we call it the indirect cost. Now why do we do the indirect cost and what are the reasons behind the indirect cost? The indirect cost is basically as well related to your development schedule. Let's say you want to sell 100 franchises in 5 years, then you need to have a global cost that will be divided into the number of franchises you're selling in 5 years. And then you move on to the direct cost. Now when we talk about the direct cost, is anything related to the training you provide to your franchisee? Is anything related to the layout design you provide to the franchisee? To the POS system training? To the travel and the opening assistance and grand opening assistance? So there is so many kind of factors that we will look into before we come up with the franchise fee analysis. So once we come up with this floor value, we come and we tell you, well, your franchise fee is $20,000, for example. So you're not allowed to sell anything below that floor value. So this is the way we can analyze your franchise fee, and not, again, it is not based on normal practice. Moving on, we talk about the royalty. There is two types of royalty. There is the variable and there is the fixed royalty. The variable is a percentage from your gross sales. A fixed royalty is a fixed fee from your net profit. The most common one, 90% of the people, of the franchisor, they use the variable, which is the percentage of gross sales. Again, a royalty, it is not defined on international practice. It is not defined based on competitive. It is simply defined, again, based on technical calculation. So, the way we come up with the royalty is we look at your business model, we look at your investment, we look at your return on investment, we look at the comparables, we look at so many factors before we decide whether your business is between the range of 5 to 7% or your business is 6% in terms of a royalty. We do our own technical decisions, and then based on this we come up with the royalty. Moving on, there is another type of fee structure, like I mentioned, the advertising fee and the marketing fund. An advertising fee is the amount or a percentage of your gross sales that the franchisee must spend in his operation to promote his own business. The marketing fund is a percentage from the gross sales that the franchisee will provide to the franchisor to establish a marketing campaigns that every single franchisee will benefit from. Moving on, we talk about the franchise agreement, the length of the agreement, the renewal fee, if there is any renewal fee or it's going to be free of charge. All these type of technical decisions that we will take in our structure report. So again, a structure report, it's the most fundamental part of your franchise program. Now, once we finish your franchise structure report and business plan, we move to the second major segment of our program, which is the legal documents. Now, in the legal documents, we will establish the letter of intents that you need to sign or appoint franchisee, which is some way, somehow similar to the MOU, and the agreements, which is whether it is an individual agreement or an area development agreement or a master franchise agreement or a conversion agreement or etc., etc., etc. So part of the legal documents, we will establish and we will draft your agreements along with the letter of intent. But please let us not forget that anything we do in the agreement or any information part of your agreement, it is based purely on your structure report and business plan. Moving on, we go into the third major segment, which is the franchise operations manual. Now, in the franchise operations manual, we help you to draft your know-how transfer. As you may know, what is a franchise operations manual, or what is a franchise in general? A franchise is a know-how transfer, maintaining your policies and procedures and permanent support and supervision to your franchisees. So basically, we need to build a very comprehensive operations manual that once we give it to the franchisee, as long he can read, he can operate your business 99%. So this is very important to us. We want to make sure that we will help you in establishing the franchise operations manual all the way from the opening duties, the SOPs, to your HR, to your marketing, to your advertising, to the branding manual. Every single detail related to your operations manual, we will collect and gather all the information from you, and we will draft it part of your franchise operations manual. Moving on, we will work on the fourth main component. This is your marketing plan and marketing material. Now, in the marketing plan, the reason we established this marketing plan, because it is related to your development schedule, which is part of your structure report. Let's say part of your development schedule is start 100 franchise. We will build your marketing plan to make sure that this plan will help you establish and will help you to sell 100 franchise over the period of 5 years. Not only this marketing plan will give you the best tools, and it will direct you and will guide you on how, why, and where, and who to choose in terms of your marketing partners or advertising agencies, or what are the best investments related to the best return in terms of your advertising. Not only this, we'll even help you to define your marketing material similar to your franchisee evaluation form. For example, the frequently asked question, anything related to your marketing activities. And the reason we do this, because we want to generate leads, but not only that, we want to convert this lead into a ready, willing, and able candidate. And in order for us to do this, then we will share with the candidates or the leads the frequently asked questions, the franchisee evaluation form. We give them the time to go through our FAQs so they don't have to call you on a daily basis. If they think that they are fit to your business requirement, or what they have to do is to fill and sign your franchisee evaluation form, send it back to you. You will do your own due diligence, and then if they fit to your profile, you will sign with them. So our job is basically to help you to establish a very well-structured and a solid franchise program development that will enable you to sell your franchise business anywhere in the world. Thank you for your time and watching our webinar. For further clarification or information, you can contact us at the following address. Feel free to call us at any time. Thank you.